So in terms of the efficacy, I mean, fertility awareness, I think everybody doesn't need to use it as a method, but the concepts and understanding your cycle is something I think that everyone would benefit from. So the basic, what it's based on is the science of how our bodies work. So you're not fertile every single day. There's a window of fertility. So from a scientific standpoint, there are about 6 days of the cycle where you can get pregnant. And then if you're using it as a birth control method, we do have to add on a bit of a buffer period there. So in a standard average menstrual cycle, like 29 days, there's something like 9 days where we would have to avoid unprotected sex at a minimum. In order to make it work. And what's interesting about it is that there's research, there's science. So we can look at what the science has to say. When we use standardized method of charting, there was a study that had these women use the symptothermal method, and they were, trained to identify when their fertile window opened and when it closed. That's the study I think that cited the most, and the efficacy was 99.4%. So that was perfect use. These were women who used the method correctly. They had a defined, instruction for when to open the fertile window, when to close it based on different biomarkers. And I think that that's really helpful because, I mean, I've had clients who are legit, like they're in my program already, like they're fully bought in, and they're like, so when you say unprotected sex, do you mean like not even withdrawal? Because we're so programmed, right? That we can't even believe it. But we can, the reason why it works is because there's a period of time in our cycle where our cervix, so the opening into the uterus, is actually open. And that corresponds to the time when we can observe our cervical fluid, which looks like the creamy white hand lotion or clear, stretchy, raw egg whites. And this is happening as we approach ovulation under the influence of estrogen. As we go into our cycle, we have our period, and as our period comes to an end, what's happening in our ovaries is that an egg is developing, and as that follicle develops, it's releasing estrogen, and that estrogen is what is stimulating the cervix to make cervical mucus. It is softening the cervix, opening it. So there's actually this window of time where we're open. So again, me with my lovely analogies, I always picture like a nightclub. So it's like the bouncer is out to lunch doing his thing, and like it's just open. And it's like, hey guys, like
come on.
Step right up. But then outside of that window, like after ovulation, what happens is once you ovulate, the what's left, the follicle becomes the corpus luteum. So if you were to look inside the body, you would see the kind of like this yellow scar looking thing on the ovary, and that starts pumping out progesterone. So quite literally, we don't pump out this progesterone until ovulation. It's the result of a physical event that happens. So it is science. And this is the great part about it, because a lot of people might still have the misconception that this is like your grandma's rhythm method and it's based on calendar calculations, but it's actually based on observing these biomarkers that we can see in real time. So, excuse me, after ovulation, when that progesterone starts rising, that progesterone shuts down our mucus production. So we typically shift into dry days, and the cervix becomes closed. So bouncer's back and no one's getting in. And so if you go into the weeds, into the research on the actual cervical fluid, our cervix fills with this plug, and it's got this very thick, dense quality about it that is so dense that it's kind of like a net that doesn't even allow sperm to pass through. So it's so thick that the sperm can't even traverse. So there are times in the menstrual cycle where it's legitimately impossible to get pregnant because after ovulation, if the egg is not fertilized, it disintegrates and is reabsorbed within a day. So after that 12 to 24 hour period, there's no egg. And if there's no egg, there's no pregnancy. So we've got no egg. We've got a closed cervix. We've got like a trap that won't.
Bouncer's back. Yeah, he's laid some traps.